Hello, everyone. I'm Lana Zack. Thank you for joining us. President Trump is ignoring calls from his Attorney General to stop publicly commenting on Justice Department activities, as Democrats are now demanding investigations into why AG Barr intervened in the Roger Stone case. This morning on Twitter, President Trump insisted that he did not ask Barr to step in on the Stone case, but he has, quote, the legal right to do so, he maintains, as president. As a reminder, officials from the Attorney General's office reduced a sentencing recommendation for Stone, the president's former campaign advisor. Federal prosecutors initially said that Stone should go to jail for up to 9 years in accordance with sentencing guidelines after Stone was convicted of 7 felonies. All 4 prosecutors working on the case resigned in protest. Now the Attorney General says that the president's comments are making it harder for him to do his job. Here's what Barr told ABC News in an interview on Thursday.
Have public statements and tweets made about the department, about our people in the department, our men and women here, about cases pending in the department, and about judges before whom we have cases, make it impossible for me to do my job and to assure the courts and the prosecutors in the department that we're doing our work with integrity.
So for more on all of this, I want to bring in Paula, Reid, and Anita Kumar. Paula is a CBS News White House correspondent, and Anita is a White House correspondent and associate editor at Politico. I'm going to start with you, Paula. Before we talk about Barr, we're getting some breaking news about former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. The Justice Department announced that it will not pursue charges against him. Why was the DOJ interested in him in the first place, and why have they now decided not to pursue these charges?
Well, we have to remember that he not only was the deputy at the FBI, he was also, for a brief time, he was the acting FBI director after James Comey was ousted. And during an Inspector General report, so that's the internal watchdog for the Justice Department, during one of their investigations, they uncovered evidence that McCabe had misled the department about disclosures he made to a Wall Street Journal reporter about the Clinton Foundation. And he's basically been in legal limbo for the past 2 years, wondering if he was going to face criminal charges.
And Paula, let's go ahead and turn back to the Stone case. Now, what does the law say about whether the president has, as he claims, the legal right to interfere in these types of federal cases?
Well, it's less of a legal issue as it is tradition. Since Watergate, there's been a tradition that presidents of both parties do not want to give any impression that there is political interference or political influence over the Justice Department. And that's something that's really been observed by presidents of both parties.
And Anita, the president again tweeted about the Department of Justice. You can see it right there, even though his Attorney General publicly urged him to stop. Barr's rebuke was also done in a way that I don't think we've ever seen from a member of the president's cabinet before. Does the Attorney General still have the confidence of the president, and does he also have confidence from the rank and file at the Justice Department right now?
Well, I don't think there were a lot of people that are close to the president who were surprised that he tweeted even after being urged not to. So that wasn't a surprise. I mean, we've often seen with President Trump that he's asked to do something and he'll do the opposite. He'll just, take what action he wants to take. You know, the comments you're mentioning did surprise a lot of people because I don't think we've seen someone who's in the cabinet who's, been that outright spoken, critical of the president. But, the president, the White House, everyone I've spoken to, even more rank and file Republicans say they are very much supportive of Bill Barr. He's gotten a lot of kudos from a lot of people on Capitol Hill and at the White House, and I think that remains the same. You saw the president in his tweets this morning not only sort of contradicted him, but also praised him, went out of his way to praise Bill Barr, and I think he enjoys that confidence still at the White House.
Yeah, it seems like a fairly shrewd political move that it allowed him both cover from Democrats who were questioning whether or not he was acting on the behest of the president. It gave him perhaps some more confidence with the rank and file. And as you say, we didn't see from the president any anger from that interview. If anything, it was the opposite. But Anita, I want to stick with you for another second because House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff tweeted this in reaction to the Barr interview. Quote, Barr admits he had intervened in the sentencing of a man who lied to Congress to cover up for the president. He's only upset that Trump's tweets made the political nature of his intervention obvious. So, Anita, is the White House at all concerned about the Democrats still?
Well, I mean, I think they know that the Democrats, House Democrats, are going to look into this issue and a variety of other issues for the rest of the year. And they are prepared for that, and they know that. It's certainly possible and probable that they are going to look into this. You know, Bill Barr did say one thing. He said he made that decision prior to the White House or the president getting involved. So he's kind of showing that he is over there doing what he wants to do, and it had nothing to do with the White House. But of course, the Democrats don't think that's very good either. They think neither man should interfere with a court case.
Yeah. So actually, I'm going to follow up with you, Paula, on the point that Anita raises, because I don't think we've heard from William Barr any clarity as to why he said he made this decision to buck the recommendation coming from the 4 prosecutors who were assigned to this case. So, Paula, have we learned anything more from the Attorney General as to why he decided to make this change from what his own department was publicly asking for?
Well, in the interview with ABC News, not necessarily in the clips that aired, but in the full transcript that's been released, he describes it really as a miscommunication between his office and the local U.S. Attorney's office. He says that when he had a discussion with the U.S. Attorney, he heard that some folks wanted to ask for 7 to 9 years, but there was also this suggestion that there could be another way to just really lay out the case, but ultimately leave it to the judge. He says that he was surprised when he heard that they had, in fact, formally recommended 7 to 9 years. Experts tell me that is an accurate but somewhat extreme recommendation. But then the president tweeted before Barr could officially try to correct the record. And even he understands that that's not a good look. There's an optics problem if you, following the president's tweet about the sentencing recommendation for his longtime friend, you then step in and try to modify it.
And given that he was the president's friend and a well-established longtime ally of President Trump's, it seems odd, at least questions were going to be raised about him intervening in this in any case. So I'm wondering, Paula, is Barr concerned with the perception and future of the Justice Department? What are your Justice Department sources telling you about why Barr conducted this interview?
Well, the official word coming out of the Justice Department is that the Attorney General had previously expressed his frustration about the president's tweets directly to the president. Now, you don't have to go on national television to deliver a message to the president that you've already delivered in person. Clearly, Barr is speaking to a broader audience. First, he's speaking to the rank and file within the Justice Department, where there are increasingly concerns about political influence over the department. And he's also speaking to the general public. Even he acknowledges in the full interview that, of course, people in the general public who don't know him, who don't know the Justice Department, they too should be concerned when they see something like this, which is why he felt compelled to come out and kind of lay out this timeline.
So let's go a little bit bigger picture beyond just the Attorney General. Anita, in an interview with Geraldo Rivera, the president suggested that he might limit the ability of his administration officials to listen in to these calls with foreign leaders. What precedent could the president's decision set?
Well, I mean, it's been pretty much for years now that some of these calls might have dozens of people on them. So, you know, the vice president might be on, national security advisor, and a lot of people that, you know, maybe don't have public names, but staffers in the White House and the National Security Council. So that did raise a lot of eyebrows. I mean, obviously he's doing this because of the impeachment and people saying that, you know, leaking information about his call with the president of Ukraine. You know, it's a little bit unclear whether he really meant he would try to do that or if he was just kind of saying that because he's still very angry that someone, this whistleblower, went to Congress, went to other higher-ups saying, you know, giving details about what was in this call. So it's a little bit unclear, but, you know, there is sort of a set protocol about how this is done at the White House. You know, there are two staffers who are on the call who take notes. There's, you know, sort of a recording of that call or, you know, information, a transcript of that call. I mean, he's sort of, you know, the president, the way he's talking is that he's just going to change all that. It's a little bit unclear if he really means that. I think there would be a lot of resistance to that, both by political appointees and career officials as well.
And Anita, I want to take advantage of the fact that you're here to talk about something else that's being reported in Politico. The president is now being accused of another quid pro quo, this time with the state of New York. Why are there concerns about his interactions with New York Governor Andrew Cuomo?
Right. The president and the governor had a meeting yesterday, and it was to talk about, the president halting these benefits for these preferred traveler benefits. So, these are programs like Global Entry. There's some disagreement here over, whether that should be done, because the president is very upset that New York won't participate and provide the federal government with some information, also giving immigrants that are here illegally some benefits. So there's a disagreement on that. But actually, this meeting went a lot further than that. The president hinted before the meeting even started that the governor should, stop investigating him and his businesses. As you know, the Trump Organization, the president's business, which he still owns, is based in New York. And New York, the state of New York, the Attorney General there, it has a variety of investigations into the Trump Organization. There are a lot of questions about the Trump Organization and whether it's done things on the up and up relating to insurance, where it's gotten its loans. It won't turn over its financial information, and that's something obviously that Congress wants, but also the state of New York. And so the president sort of threatened, hinted at threatening, hey, you should stop doing this, and then maybe I'll work with you. This is exactly the kind of thing that the House Democrats and the House impeachment managers had talked about. They even mentioned that this could happen with individual states. It's kind of uncanny. They mentioned it just a few weeks ago, and here is what House Democrats are saying would happen. They're saying it's happening now. I think one thing to know is that the president and his businesses and organizations that he's affiliated with are under investigation in a variety of states, not just New York, New Jersey, California. There are federal investigations, but there are also state and local investigations. So there are a lot of opportunities here for the president to try to persuade those local and state officials to do what he wants relating to his business, and that has a lot of people very worried.
And Anita, I just want to clarify for our viewers, what was Cuomo's reaction to this potential quid pro quo?
Well, we actually saw the Attorney General of the state of New York who said, look, it's actually not the governor who files these lawsuits, it's me. And she's obviously a Democrat as well as the governor. And, they push back on that. They're basically saying that, they're unrelated and we're going to do what we need to do.
Paula, what do all of these moves by the president say about his attitude and how he intends to conduct his presidency post-acquittal?
Well, clearly he's been on a post-acquittal campaign of retribution. Not only has he been tweeting out about the Stone case, he's also been taking action. Obviously, he pushed out several NSC officials, Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, who testified against him in the impeachment inquiry, also Vindman's brother, also the former ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland. They were all pushed out post-acquittal. We also saw the U.S. attorney who oversaw Roger Stone's prosecution in D.C. She had a nomination for a top Treasury job. That was withdrawn. So it appears that the president is unchastened by what he's been through in the Russia investigation, what he's been through in impeachment, and he will continue to play at the edges of his power to send messages to anyone who tries to investigate him, his campaign, his family, or his associates.
Paula, Reid, and Anita Kumar, thank you.